Good morning, NADA. Welcome back to day 2 and welcome back to the Dominion DMS stage where we're highlighting our vendor partners. We love our vendor partners. We couldn't do business for our dealers without them. And our second guest today is from Dealer Phones. Now, you also call it Clarity Voice, so I'll let you explain that in a little bit. But we have Gary Goerke, who is the president and CEO. Welcome, Gary.
Well, thanks for having me, Sharon. I appreciate it. It's great to be here.
Of course. So you're going to do a little bit of show and tell associated with what your company's all about, what you offer to dealers, and maybe a little bit about how we work together and share data. Does that work?
That's perfect.
All right, and I think you also want to kind of weave in there that some things that dealers need to understand about making some technology decisions for themselves.
Some advice that is long learned about how to evaluate and select technology that makes an impact to a dealership or any business.
Good for you. Okay.
You can't hear me? Okay, great.
All right, so this looks like a lot of stuff, right? I know what this thing is and I know what that thing is, but you've got a hub of communications for your dealers.
Right, and before I get into what we do, if I can take a minute and explain how we got here.
Of course.
So my background's in information technology. I spent the first, 20 years in information technology consulting and management. And what I did in the different organizations, including Ford Motor Company for a stint, was to evaluate technologies that would make an impact to the top line or bottom line of the organization.
Okay.
And so 20 years in, I had what's known as an entrepreneurial seizure, which is I saw an idea and nobody pursuing what I saw was an opportunity and a problem to be solved. And I started a cloud communications company by the name of Clarity, almost 20 years ago now. And always wanting to provide value to whatever I did or whoever I worked with, we niched and we built over the last 20 years a significant presence with franchise home services and franchise restaurant businesses.
Okay.
So we have over 10,000 customers today in that space, and what's really made a difference there is that we engage with our franchisor partners to learn what their needs and their opportunities are, and then apply a technology solution to that. Sometimes the technology solution is what we have available out of the box, and it's just the implementation and design for them. Other times there's some customizations that take place, which we're able to do with a complete development team in-house. So about 5 years ago, I was in a CEO networking group. I know you're very active in executive leadership and networking, and you understand that when executives come together, that there's a lot of problem sharing.
Yes.
And one of
because most executives don't have peers to problem share with, so
that's right. They don't have peers, so a peer of mine in a CEO group happened to own a couple dealerships and was complaining about his phones.
Okay.
I think his exact words were, "My phones suck, Gary." And I didn't know much about how dealerships operated, but I do know how business to consumer works, and I know how important the customer experience is, and streamlining moving that customer to the individual in any business that's going to provide a solution or an answer. So I met with Jeff and put a system into his dealership, and he was so wowed. He said, "Gary, everybody who owns a dealership needs to have your system." So that was the beginning of the second spark.
That's quite a testimonial.
And how we formed Dealer Phones.
Okay. All right, so got it. Clarity Voice was the original. Dealer Phones is this market's version of Clarity Voice.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. Clarity Voice is the
Parent company.
The parent company. Yep.
Okay. Good. All right. So this is the out-of-the-box solution. Is that fair to say that?
This is out of the box.
Okay.
But it's quite customizable even out of the box. So what this really represents is that our phone system is actually a communications platform that's the foundational hub for all of the voice and text communications in a dealership.
Okay.
And from that foundation, additional technologies can be layered onto that foundation without the risk of being handcuffed to that technology.
Okay.
Because the core communication, the voice and text traffic, is owned by the dealership through our platform.
Okay.
So what this is representing, it's really showing that there's voice communications and direct integrations or additional technologies, both third party like Dominion and our own like our cellular service, which we have a native cellular service that's national that allows the dealership to have cellular phones in their salespeople or service folks' hands, and without any application or additional education or learning, just using a cell phone, the dealership has a record of all of the communications being made by their employees.
That's key.
It's very
Because
important.
most of the communications are, I mean, after you've established a relationship, right?
Right, well,
it's going that way.
What's very prevalent today in dealerships is, especially in sales, is they're using their own cell phone,
Right.
so that they have the flexibility.
Right.
Well, that creates several problems, which we solve by having cellular service, but it's owned by the dealership and tied in
Yeah.
with our core
yeah.
platform.
Great. That's amazing. Wow. All right. That's exciting. And you have the traditional keyword here at NADA 2024, AI.
We added AI to this. Now, I am a non-hype person.
Okay.
And my advice to any dealer that's evaluating technology is do not get caught up in the hype. Maybe go to the party that's being hosted by the company that does hype really well. But when you're looking for a solution, don't buy the hype. Look at really the tangible of what's being delivered and what it's going to do for you at your dealership. So full story AI, there is an AI component to it. This is what's called a single pane of glass or one screen that shows all of the customers' communications with the dealership in chronological order, regardless of who that conversation was with, and in both voice and text. So the voice and text messages are transcribed here, and also the AI portion is they're summarized.
So I see a text, right? These are clearly voices. Is this that they called and left a voicemail? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
also, it's capturing voicemails and the transcription of the voicemails.
Wow.
So
So that's to your point, whether they called the office number or they called the cell, as long as it's connected to your cell service, it's going to have everything in here.
exactly.
Wow.
The dealership has all of the communications that took place in one spot for quick review. So we're told by the dealerships who have adopted this that first they were able to roll it out to their entire organization within 2 days of it being available, because it's that intuitive, and that it saves on average a half an hour anytime there's customer research that needs to be
I can
done.
see that. So Martha's the consumer, and it looks like Jennifer is the salesperson, maybe.
Well, it says, actually it's noted, so
Okay.
Jennifer is in finance. So that's,
Oh, okay. So Dan, okay. But regardless of who's taking the call, or doing the message internally, if they are then not available or they have a day off, God forbid, or something along those lines, whoever Martha is in contact with next has anything that was committed, anything that was said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's showing all of the conversations that took place. Or
I
in
can-
the case
I
of
can
voicemail,
see-
those
I can see
conversations
how,
didn't.
Martha might say, oh no, Dan told me, he would give me another $5,000 off that vehicle or something along those lines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your finance person or your manager can quickly disseminate what transpired here, what was said, how many people interacted with that customer. And again, it's in one place, and it's all around the customer's experience, that customer journey, and their interactions with the dealership.
Do you have any stats or intel on how many conversations happen with a single prospect before they buy?
My director of technology probably does.
Okay. He's not giving you a number from the audience or anything,
but I
unfortunately. Okay. Well,
It really depends.
there's kind of at least 10 on this screen, right?
Well, really, Sharon, it depends on the entire tech stack or what other technology.
Yeah.
So what we noticed when we were demoing Dominion is that the View product is so intuitive that anybody who's in looking at information or processing any transaction can do so at the first time of sitting quickly without having to go and ask or learn waste time on how to get something done.
Yeah.
It's intuitive. So it's going to vary by dealership.
Yeah.
Somebody with Dominion will probably have fewer transactions, conversations than somebody with one of the other big DMSs that have great parties.
Okay. And you guys have a presence here at the show, right?
We do. We're over in the North Hall.
Okay.
And you'll see us by dealer phones, and we would love for you to stop by and have a conversation. We'd love to meet you and say hi.
Okay, so, the North Hall feels like it's a little bit of a walk, but the loop is going, or you can also take the bus, right? And it's pretty easy and convenient. I think there's a lot of vendors like yourselves that have over in the North Hall that have really innovative solutions, so dealers should definitely spend some time there. And do you have a little bit of an NADA offer? Is that what that is?
Well, we are. We have an NADA special of up to 60% off.
Wow.
But what's more important than what the price is what value it's going to bring to your dealership. And that's the conversation we want to have.
Yeah.
Is if we can provide value, which we believe we will, then fantastic. And if we can't solve anything that's impactful for a dealer, then they should stay with where they're at.
Okay. All right. And together, we are working, as you mentioned before, to make sure that we're as integrated as tightly as possible to drive efficiency into the process. When the client is calling in, any information that exists within the DMS about that client's name tied to their phone number, et cetera, will be available then in dealer phones as well.
It will be. It will be in dealer phones and in the customer record in Dominion.
Right. So anytime you and your key product people here have additional thoughts and feelings about how we can work more closely together to drive additional efficiency into the process for the dealers, we are 100% open to that. We love to offer our data cleanly and safely so that it helps the dealers who spend so much time putting it into our system.
We've seen that, and we're very impressed with your team and how helpful they are and how interested they are in partnerships that bring that value to your customers.
Yeah.
And we've been touting Dominion since we had that meeting. We really think you have a great product and a great system, and it's one that is results based. You truly care about your dealer customer and want them to have a unique advantage.
We do. We do. Well, I think you have a thank you slide. So thank you for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it, Gary, and enjoyed getting to learn more about your solution. Again, that solution can be found in the North Hall, and they have a rotating thing up on top there, so you'll be able to see the dealer phone sign and quickly get to it at any time. You have some great solutions, so I hope you have a great show.
Thank you. The pleasure's been mine. We appreciate the time on the stage and the relationship.
Absolutely. Us too. Thank you.
Bye now.